Wow. This feels good.
Welcome to Spider-Man 3. I hope you caught the videos on Raimi 1 and Raimi 2. Those movies are both a lot better than this one. But I actually really like Spider-Man 3. It absolutely stays true to the spirit and character of the first two, and a lot of the things that it gets dogged for aren't really issues for me at all. Black Suit Spider-Man is good. It's overstuffed, I think, is the main justifiable complaint you can make about it. And that does turn it into a very unfulfilling and scattered movie. But I don't think it's a bad one. A unique Silver Age take on the Venom symbiote, an excellent cinematic Sandman, and this iconic version of Peter Parker's final adventure.
They love me.
It falls into the Revenge of the Sith tier. Flawed, but a guilty pleasure that I don't feel all that guilty about. So, as this movie starts, Peter Parker's difficulties from the last movie don't seem to be issues for him in the same way. Instead of struggling with the balance of life as Spider-Man, he's top of his class. Still getting bullied, but fine with it, and fully dating Mary Jane, who he's still being so fucking campy about.
It's my girlfriend.
It still has that 60s/90s Stan Lee style as Peter and Harry attend MJ's Broadway show. Harry is very upset with Peter about the whole Green Goblin thing, but they still haven't talked about it.
What's with you guys, anyway?
It's complicated.
Harry's been spending his spare time in the Goblin Chamber, getting ready for his clash with Peter. But he's not the only villain in this movie. Flint Marko was clearly meant to be the central villain, before the studio interfered and forced Venom in due to his popularity. You can tell Sandman was supposed to be more important. He's given that deliberate humanity to start us out, like Norman and Otto were, to make his villainy into a tragedy. He has a sick daughter that he needs money to support, which is supposed to give him a sympathetic reason to be a petty criminal recently escaped from prison.
I'm not a bad person. Just had bad luck.
The original Sandman was a one-note, ha-ha type of villain. A lunkhead who's a great gimmick and not much else, with an iconic, deceptively effective design. I don't say that to put him down. He's simple, but also is a classic for a reason. Unfortunately, though it tries to give him more depth the way it did with Dr. Octopus, the movie is so stuffed up with villains that he ends up being very thin and doesn't get any time at all for real growth. He has sand powers and a sick daughter. As a character, there's not much else to him, and I do wish he'd gotten a bit more to do. Luckily, the special effects of him in sand form are the best of the whole series. His general look is pitch perfect, and his action sequences are the best in the film too. Thomas Hayden Church's performance is kind of bad.
I don't want to hurt you. Leave now.
But it does fit, and I like it anyway. The character has the personality and physicality of a brick, which feels appropriate.
End of the line, Spider-Man.
There's also a whole thing where he ends up being the one that really killed Uncle Ben. If Sandman had gotten his own Spider-Man movie to star in, that might have been a great central conflict, but in this one, there just isn't quite enough time for it. It does fit this franchise's pattern of remixing old Spider-Man villains so that they all have a direct tie to Peter Parker's personal life, but I'm not sure how well the development actually works here. If Flint Marko was the one who shot Uncle Ben, that means Peter chased down and caused the death of the wrong man. That's kind of compelling. It creates a unique reason for Spider-Man and Sandman to clash. It accentuates what an angry character Spider-Man can be, and there's supposed to be a theme of forgiveness. But the story of Spider-Man's origin is that Peter arrogantly let someone go, had the power to do the right thing, and didn't. The callousness and wrongness of that abdication of responsibility was driven home by the fact that the same man killed Uncle Ben. If it wasn't him, then this whole origin story loses so much of its meaning and its impact. The lesson isn't relevant.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
And at the end, We find out that Flint shot Uncle Ben by accident, so the forgiveness angle ends up losing a lot of its teeth anyway.
Then I saw my partner running over with the cash, and the gun was in my hand.
So I guess Peter letting the guy go was relevant in a butterfly effect sort of way. But I stand by what I said. I think it's a messy retcon that makes the original story worse. Maybe this idea could have been justified if it had been given more space. But in this film, it's mostly just another crack to open up Peter's later corruption by the symbiote. That works fine, but it's clear that this stuff was what Raimi wanted the movie to be. And he didn't want to compromise it just because the studio forced him to include Venom. It would definitely have been better to let this film be the Venom movie if that's what it had to be, and just do Sandman next. He's very well realized, and I like him a lot. I just think the movie lets him down. But even if Sandman got saved for later, we still would have needed Harry Osborn. His storyline is the one that's been built through this whole trilogy, and it also very much centers around forgiveness.
Tell it to my father. Raise him from the dead.
It reaches its breaking point near the start of the movie in a sky fight, and I actually appreciate that it happens so immediately. I just watched all three of these back to back, so I have all the context I need, and the climax level action scene doesn't feel out of place at all. The real issue with this is Harry's unfortunate new goblin costume. Could be a contender for one of the most badly aged designs ever in a superhero movie. A hoverboard straight out of Sonic Riders, and negative personality or flair. It's just James Franco in a dark green jumpsuit.
Harry.
You knew this was coming, Pete.
For a villain that's been built through 3 movies, the closest one to Peter himself, and a key character from the source material, it really sucks that he's such a disappointing successor to Willem Dafoe's Norman Osborn. A portrayal that truly evoked the first film would have been way better. But the fight itself is good. It's choreographed really well. This clash was very necessary for the trilogy, and the slapstick ending is visceral and funny.
No!
Harry gets amnesia from this. Peter takes it as a very convenient blessing when he wakes up,
Hey, buddy. Hey.
and immediately starts gaslighting him like crazy.
It's good to have you back.
It's the first portion of things where the campiness really shows itself as ridiculous. But the other movies did this too. Harry's always going through some campy soap opera nonsense.
Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs.
And as with them, I think it works great because it's intentional. I've said it before, but some of the nostalgic charm of early Stan Lee comics is that Stan wasn't actually a great writer of prose or dialogue. It was often very awkward and stilted. It's kind of obvious that he's scribbling over finished drawings once you know that's what he's doing. But his clear, unpretentious writing has a lot of character. It's very nice. His stuff is goofy and dated, but lovable and earnest. These movies love acting like that. And this one is specifically channeling Stan Lee the most. Green Goblin finding out who Peter is and then getting amnesia is a classic soapy Ramita move, and I love seeing it here as the gloriously cheesy development it is.
I think he's gonna be fine.
I think so.
And you guys seem great.
Yeah.
That balancing his double life issue starts to rear its head in Peter's relationship with Mary Jane. He thinks that now that he's dating her, everything's fine. And he doesn't seem to understand that even though he's happy with their arrangement, she isn't. She's now tied into his responsibilities too, because her boyfriend doesn't really have time for her. He's supportive and he loves her, but there are disconnects.
Go get him, Tiger.
And he's too busy with his growing ego as he deals with a runaway crane and saves Gwen Stacy to have time to deal with those disconnects. That's right, Gwen Stacy is in this too. She went on a date with Eddie Brock, but isn't too interested in him. Seems like she's got more of a crush on Spider-Man. And yeah, Eddie Brock is also in this movie.
Parker, you're late. Maybe too late. Bruckner here beats you to it.
It's Brock, sir. Edward Brock Jr.
He's a very transparent douchebag played by Topher Grace, who people really hated at the time this movie came out, but I generally like the portrayal. His biggest issue is that he doesn't have any intimidating air or tragic, relatable identity. Just the joke that he sucks.
What's that smell?
That's a little something called nice and easy. What's on you?
It's called Go Away.
But as a rotten mirror to this version of Peter Parker, I think it works well. Instead of having a weird, awkward confidence that's endearingly cringy, he's a smarmy asshole who repulses everyone he speaks to and reeks of insecurity. The original Eddie Brock was a delusional, over-muscled, pretty basic character who was more of a compelling costume than anything else. He looks like a dark mirror to Spider-Man, but doesn't act that way. And he was created long after the Stan Lee comics that these movies are modeled on. So Sam Raimi altered him to match up with this franchise and its campy 60s style. I think casting him as a scrawny, weak-willed cheater who's trying to steal Peter's photography job by making Spider-Man look bad is interesting and fun. Again, he's in a movie that's overstuffed, so he doesn't get quite enough development. But this series can give someone a lot of personality in just a few short scenes. I appreciate what Raimi was doing here, and I like how unlikable and annoying his Eddie Brock is. His quest to start is to snap a photo of Spider-Man as a menace, which is a very 1960s goal.
At last, that web-headed weasel is going to be exposed for the fraud he is.
Mary Jane's been let go from her play, but doesn't tell Peter. He's too wrapped up in his Spider-Man Key to the City ceremony to notice. I thought this storyline was really shaping up well, but then he willingly makes out with Gwen Stacy even though he knows Mary Jane is watching, which is probably the most baffling decision Peter Parker has ever made in any movie he's ever been in. He goes for dinner with her that night with the idea that he's going to propose, and obviously the fact that he did that is a huge problem. This Peter is very oblivious generally, and Maguire does all he can to sell him as incredulous that she's upset.
You're my girlfriend. She's a girl in my class, MJ.
But I don't know, it's a weird plot development. It tries to do the love triangle thing, but it feels a bit late for that. This isn't a high school romance where Peter's trying to pick one of them. This series has made it really clear how much Peter loves her and had already set up her need for connection as driving them apart. So this whole thing just doesn't make much sense to me. It's the same as the Venom thing. Sandman and Harry set up a clean story about vengeance and aggression and forgiveness, which the Venom edition does complement, but bloats and derails. And the MJ plot was set up to be about ego and a responsibility to be there for her, which Gwen derails. But all this does take him down a notch and primes him for the black suit, which is going to create an excuse for some pretty great scenes later on.
Find us some shade.
You want to see me talk about those, right? There's a lot of movie here and a lot of setup. This thing doesn't even show up until about halfway through. But the setup's done. Let's talk about some evil black goo. It falls from space and possesses Peter after the Uncle Ben stuff gets dredged up. He's seduced by it pretty easily.
This is something else.
And the corruption of the suit completely takes over the movie, creating its most compelling and fun parts. His ego, toxicity, and anger have been set up well as things to be amplified. And although people shit on corrupted Peter as too goofy and too cringy, that's a criticism that I genuinely don't understand. This is a Peter Parker who's for 3 movies now been shown as a mixture between the original Steve Ditko loser and the later John Romita soap opera hero, with Stan Lee's characteristic cheesiness at center stage.
Did Bernoulli sleep before he found the curves of quickest descent?
Oh, Rosie, I love this boy.
That created a guy who's not confident, but is goofily lovable.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, Peter.
Hey, sorry I'm late. It's a jungle out there. I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get these cranberries.
Who's embarrassing and awkward, but kind of cute and sweet.
Day by day, he gazed upon her. Day by day, he sighed with passion. Day by day.
Don't start.
Is the opposite of this guy not a cringy, arrogant incel? Who still isn't conventionally charming, but now also lacks the likability that makes him charismatic anyway? Who proudly displays his ego with an embarrassing, misplaced confidence? Who thinks this is what it means to be cool? I also like it for the same reason I like this version of Eddie Brock. The black suit and Venom aren't from the Silver Age originally like everything else in this trilogy. Raimi's translating both concepts into his vision of an adapted 1960s Spider-Man world. So both have become sillier, cheesier 1960s versions of these concepts from another age. It's a fun adaptation that way. This Peter has that version of aggression and violence that's being cracked open in a very intentional way.
Leave me alone.
Give me rent.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door!
And another thing, these scenes aren't accidentally memeable. We're experiencing them exactly the way this movie wants us to. If that isn't something you wanted, that confuses me. That's what this whole trilogy is. It's campy and cheesy on a near constant basis, with serious moments to ground it and keep you invested anyway. That's the masterful tonal tightrope walk of the Raimi movies, and this translation of the black suit fits that exactly. Though I don't know why they made its design just a normal one but black. Black symbiote Spider-Man is one of the best designs in comics, and they just didn't bother with it. Injecting the black suit into the Harry plot is also pretty fun. Mary Jane kisses Harry, which she's totally justified in doing, by the way, but then he remembers everything and blackmails her into dumping Peter.
If you want Peter to live, you're gonna do something for me.
Not totally sure how that works, since she knows Peter is Spider-Man.
It's over.
No. Please don't say that.
But it gives Harry a great excuse to start gaslighting and fucking with Peter.
I'm the other guy.
And even though this is kind of messy and doesn't totally make sense, it's pretty great anyway. Harry's at his best when he's doing this soapy shit.
How's the pie?
So good.
But Black Suit Spider-Man gives him the fight he's been begging for, and it's a lot of fun.
Protected you in high school, now I'm gonna kick your little ass.
It's probably too cheesy. Usually the fights in the Raimi movies have an aspect of seriousness that this one does lack. But it is cathartic to see cringe Peter give Harry what he's been asking for.
Look at little Goblin Jr. Gonna cry?
And the symbiote takes it just a beat too far with a bomb to the face. Clean, fun, black suit Spider-Man stuff. Afterward, he gives Brock what he's been asking for too, as Peter exposes him for faking a photo. Brock is really upset about this, but obviously entirely deserved it.
Parker, you are such a Boy Scout. When are you going to give a guy a break?
There's really nothing in this movie that ever makes you feel bad for the guy.
If you do this, I will lose everything.
You should have thought of that earlier.
And after that, we get to see him in all his incel glory. He pulls a Spider-Man jazz dance at Mary Jane's club with Gwen Stacy, which is the funniest scene in the movie.
Now dig on this.
But then he follows it up by accidentally punching Mary Jane in the face. Some people call it tonal whiplash, but I don't agree. It effectively shocks you out of that absurdity and takes us directly into the end of Black Suit Spider-Man. Peter clearly, instantly understands that something is deeply, deeply wrong with this strange suit. Fun's over. Time to get this thing the fuck off. Look at how it tries to stay on his face. So well done. Fun fact, the aggressiveness that the suit forces on him actually isn't even from the 90s comics. It's from the 94 animated series.
Look who suddenly developed a backbone. I've developed a lot more than a backbone.
Which this movie pulls basically the entire Venom plot from. There's the Eddie Brock and Peter Parker as competing photographers thing.
Just give me my old job back, JJ, and these pictures are yours.
I'll take them, Brock.
Eddie being fired for forging a photo.
You lied to me!
Okay.
Your history, Brock. Out of here. Fired!
Pack your things. Get out of my building.
I was just...
You're fired!
The murderous villain fight.
I give up trying to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Good riddance.
The waking up mirror thing.
Parker, how on earth did you get in the middle of Manhattan, hanging upside down in a costume you've never seen before?
When he brings a piece of the suit to Dr. Kurt Connors.
Where do you think you're going? You've got to get that suit off!
And the way the suit drips onto Eddie Brock, giving birth to Venom. I always just find it really interesting when non-comic stuff gets looped into the canon like that. I just think it's cool. This show rocks. Although they did cut one of the most unintentionally funny line reads I've ever heard.
Shocker! You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
But anyway, now we've got Venom. I actually don't really mind this Venom design. I mean, obviously the jacked up, comic accurate Tom Hardy version is better, but it's just skinny Venom. The face is pretty good, and that's the most important bit. The Topher Grace voice does not sound particularly good coming out of Venom's mouth, though.
Oh yeah, I know all about you.
And they pull the suit back around the face too much. Those are also things they figured out later with the Tom Hardy version.
We are Venom.
And unfortunately, Venom arrives just in time for the quality to objectively start to nosedive. The overstuffed nature of this movie becomes a massive problem at the end, when everything starts to get truncated and rushed, since this is 2 movies in one. Sandman and Venom just kind of team up because it's convenient for the movie if Spider-Man can fight them both at the same time.
I want to kill the spider. You want to kill the spider. Together, he doesn't stand a chance.
There's not really another reason for it. They just want to fight Spider-Man. And so Venom grabs MJ. Gonna need some more of those screams. The final fight is definitely the worst part of this whole thing. It's the one portion I can't really defend. The fight has this big crowd watching the whole thing, and a TV presenter occasionally narrating it, saying out loud what we can clearly see happening on screen in a disinterested, manicured voice.
He seems to have come out of nowhere to answer the prayers of the city, just when all hope seemed to be lost.
Brock continues to be the least sympathetic villain in the whole trilogy.
Do you remember what you did to me?
And the Venom action isn't particularly good. The action sequences in these movies are usually very creative and well done, but the mirror match just sucks. Giant Sandman is cool. He's got that fun giant guy slowness. But he might be a bit too slow. It's just not that exciting to watch him do his little slams over and over. And the crowd's reaction is goofy in the wrong way.
It's hard to believe what's happening. The brutality of it.
Harry joins the battle and teams up with Peter, which is good. 2-on-2 is easier to follow than 1-on-3, but this fight also needs to eventually wrap the Venom, Sandman, and Harry plotlines, which is just too much. The Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus fights were very tight, and were the culmination of a central rivalry.
I've been like a father to you. Be a son to me now.
Peter Parker. Brilliant but lazy.
Here, Peter needs to get the suit off Brock and blow it up, which is easy enough. He then needs to forgive Sandman for killing Uncle Ben. Remember that? Peter forgives him, and it seems like it might have been earnestly emotional. It just didn't have the time it needed. Sandman hasn't been doing anything with intention. He's just kind of here. And I'm not sure he even knows why he participated in this kidnap and murder attempt. No one mentions it. Once he flies out, Peter then needs to rush over to Harry so he can do his big death scene, ending a story that's been running through the whole trilogy in a way that unfortunately feels like an afterthought. It's just too many villains reaching their finales at the exact same time. The other movies also did a lot, but they never lost track of a storyline. The supporting cast would be given things to do, and they'd all dance together into a fantastic whole that affirms the movie's philosophy. You always feel the joy, and Peter always sits at a perfect center while everything moves in equilibrium around him. This movie has all the pieces of a good Raimi Spider-Man movie. It's almost there, but it just doesn't quite dance together. It drops all the pins it's been juggling. It feels too tired to end in a cohesive way, and just sort of cuts to black. But outside the fact that it fell apart at the end there, I absolutely love it. Because even with all its flaws, it's a Raimi Spider-Man movie. I love the sappy campiness of Peter and MJ's bond. I love the sympathetic remixes of old villains. I love the 1960s respectful comic book tone that everything's filtered through. I love the expansive supporting cast, Harry, Aunt May, JJ, and the rest. I love the moments where it gets me to take it seriously, even though it's so delightfully cheesy. I love this goofy, cringy, adorable nerd. Is it a satisfying end for this version of the character? No, it isn't. But the further away from it we get, and the more superhero movies have started to all blend together, the more singular these three movies feel. They're a stunningly fun achievement, made by a die-hard fan who's trying his best to explain to you why he's been so passionate about Spider-Man his entire life. Rarely has a comic book movie been made by a guy who knows his shit the way Raimi knows his shit. That devotion and enthusiasm and understanding shines through the whole trilogy. And I think if you love one of them, there's a part of you that loves all three.